This is Curtis coming at you from Ace Per Head Studios once again, covering the 2021 NFL season. And normally I do Miami Dolphins, a lot of Dolphins, Bills. I'm really focused on the AFC. But the AFC is kind of looking like you can see the direction it's going. If things have really changed, with Titans rising up the way they did, but the Henry injury kind of brings it back down to the norm. My Dolphins are kind of sucking. So I'm going to I decided to go and look at the NFC. And early last summer, I did some podcasts on how the NFC West was going to be a very entertaining division. And not only that, but the conference itself, the NFC conference, is must-watch TV if you're a football fan. Now, the Bucs took a very ugly loss. Very surprising. I was very surprised. Saints are just a well-run team. They lost Jameson Winston with the horse collar tackle, and they somehow pulled out the victory. A lot of that was the Bucs kind of giving the game away. And so the question is, are the Bucs on the road to repeat? And I think the reality is they're gonna need to have home field advantage throughout to really get a good chance at this, because there's a lot of good teams right now in the NFC. So you got the Bucs 6-2. 260 points for, 183 against. Most potent offense in the conference. But that 6-2 mark with a loss to the Rams kind of makes it precarious. They've got a good team. We'll go over the schedules and see how it looks. You get the Pack 7-1, only 192 scored, 167 against. And now Aaron Rodgers is out 10 days with COVID, so they're going to have to play maybe 2 games without him, and this could really change things. Then you have the Cards at 7-1, very surprising 7-1, 246 points for and 138 points against. Best defense of these major powerhouse teams, but they lost A.J. Watt, and that's going to have major impact. Very interesting. Then the Rams. Stafford he's really shown, man, if he had been on another team, how good he could have been. And this defense has been good for years. And now you add Von Miller. They're 7-1. They got 245 points for, 268 against. Then you got Dallas at 6-1, 225 points. 162 against. Kind of just nothing big or any major stories hitting them yet. So these are the major teams right now vying, and they all have great records and pretty stocked rosters. Bucs, Packs, Cards, Rams, and Dallas. Can the Bucs rise out of this? Can they still achieve home field advantage throughout? Now the Bucs, they got obviously Brady, Brown, Goodwin, Evans, Gronk. That's what's really driving their offense, and a really good offensive line. Shaquille Barrett and Vita Vea on defense, one of the best run-stopping defense in the league, almost on the verge of special to really drive this. But they got this week at Washington, which, it could be a competitive game, but I don't think it's going to be something to give them another loss. They got at Indianapolis. I feel the same thing. Now, they're going to be at the Falcons. And they kind of blew the doors off the Falcons, 45-28-ish. But when you watch the game, and I watched that game, the Falcons really were kind of in it and made some critical errors, and some critical plays kind of swung in Tampa Bay's direction. And the Falcons are really kind of stepping up. Ridley's not going to be there, and that's going to really hurt. So I'm interested to see. This could be one of those curious, maybe possible letdown games. Then there'll be Buffalo Bills, Week 14 in Buffalo. This, to me, is the game of the year for the AFC. I am so interested to see, can the Bills handle the run defense of Tampa? And if Tampa does stop that running attack, slows down Allen, will they be able to overcome? So that's a key game for me. Then you got New Orleans, but New Orleans has been stripped of their quarterback, so I don't expect Tampa Bay to play down to that level again. And then you got at Carolina. That could be a tough game. But really, when you look at it, the only real game on the docket that you could say that Tampa really is expected to possibly lose is the Bills. So that puts them at a 6-3 record. And again, that tiebreaker with the Rams is very critical. So we'll go to the Rams and check them out. They got Stafford, Cooper Kupp, Henderson, Jalen Ramsey, Aaron Donald, and Von Miller. I mean, that's a stacked team. Now, they got Green Bay at Green Bay, Week 12. They got to be at Arizona, Week 14. They're going to face Seattle at home with Wilson, who'll be fully healed. And then it's at Baltimore Ravens. Now, the Ravens, they can be hot and cold. They've lost so many players. But I could really see any of these games really testing the Rams. And really at Green Bay and at Arizona are going to be very tough games. Despite all this, I don't know. It's going to be very difficult, but I don't think the Rams are probably going to lose 2 of these games unless they really step forward. Then you got the Cards with Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins, Christian Kirk, Ertz and Williams at tight end. I mean, this is a potent offense. Like Jordan Hicks on defense. Xavier Collins was really turning out to be a fine rookie. Isaiah Simmons. But again, the loss of A.J. Watt is massive. But their schedule isn't too tough. I mean, they got Seattle at Week 11. Wilson should be sort of on the mend, fully on the mend. He's coming back supposedly this week. That could be a tough game. Then they're going to have the Rams at home, then at Dallas, and then Seattle again. I don't know. Split? Could be a split here. I could even see them may only losing 1. Maybe at Dallas. Could be interesting. I mean, this is all these teams look like they're going to have like that. Like 14-3, 15-2, maybe, I don't know, 2 to 3 losses, maybe 4 losses in most of these teams. Then you got the boys. I do think the boys have the hardest road as far as the schedule goes. They got Dak, Cooper, Lamb, Schultz, Randy Gregory, Micah Parsons is looking really good. They got Diggs and Brown at corners, Jaron Kearse at safety. Really good team, but they got to go to KC. They got to face the Raiders. They got to go to the Saints. They got to go to Washington. And Washington, anytime you play division teams, very, very difficult. They got Arizona, and then they got to go to Philly. And Philly's got a good defense. I mean, they could easily lose 3 of these games. So I think they're the least likely to really test Tampa at this point. Then there's the Pack. I mean, I think the Pack really had a great shot to get home field advantage if it wasn't for this Rodgers thing. They're going to KC this week without Rodgers. I don't know how they win, but they could, but I don't really see it. Then they got Seattle, which is, I think they could beat Seattle. They got the Rams at home. Rams really could test them, but at home, I don't know. And then they got to go to the Ravens. They really had a shot to press for home field advantage, but this loss of Rodgers is really going to cripple them. So to me, I mean, it's looking like the Cards is really going to vie the most with Tampa. Tampa is also kind of team with high veteran leadership that as the season progresses, they're going to get better. So in my mind, I still think Tampa has the best shot to get home field advantage, although Arizona could really test them. And maybe if the Rams somehow go to that next level, they have the tiebreaker. It's going to be really exciting. These games, I mean, some of these games are going to be just such must-watch TV. Arizona versus the Rams, Packers versus the Rams, Bills versus the Bucs. Some really great football. You know, I mean, all of us are fans, and we get tied into our team. But if we can step away from that a little bit and really appreciate other games, it's just such great entertainment for us. I'm really excited to see how this shapes up. I'm going to track these games for sure, some of these big games without a doubt. Football fans, it really looks like the 2021 season, at least for the NFC, is going to give us massive entertainment value and some really good football. Bucs fans, I think you got a really good shot. I wouldn't write it out. It's guaranteed. But this is going to be one great regular season and postseason. Anyway, this is Curtis saying thank you for staying to the end. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Comments mean the most. Subscribes and likes help us with the Google overlords, keeps us in business. I like talking football, trying to branch out to other things because, you know, really, sometimes your team is doing great and sometimes it's not. But football in general is always doing great because there's always something great going on in NFL football. Anyway, give a shout out to our sponsors, Ace Per Head, best online sports book out there. They want to let you know with their world-class software, we can get on the action with friends, family, and coworkers. They're the best sponsors. Unbelievable company. I'm grateful to have them, grateful to have you. This is Curtis. Catch you next time. Be well.